Everything is on, I think. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
All right.
Hello.
So we
First
are.
of all, guys, sorry, first of all, guys,
Денис, объясни им, пожалуйста, один момент, что когда они будут говорить, ты мне будешь переводить чуть-чуть, ну, чтобы я понимал и буду отвечать тогда.
let me just please be aware that we're not so much English speaking guys, so please be patient, and if I need something to translate to Andrew in Russian and to answer to me, then I will try to translate it to you in my English. So
Yeah. So excuse me if this is like a bit quick and dirty, but I've got like 10 minutes between the next battle. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to you guys in Stal for your victory. Like, well done. Do you know who you're taking on next?
I believe it's Salty.
Uh-oh. my two...
Андрей, Солти у нас, следующие Солти идут, мы вышли на Солти.
Да.
Andrew says yes, it's Salty will be. Salty won this.
Well, you both played tonight. Did you guys watch the Salty CRD game?
I mean, I wasn't online, but let's say this interview just took me out of this Andrew Ramble streaming. So I just saw maybe 1.5 match of Salty and CRD.
Oh, sorry. You'll have to excuse me, I've got a really bad cough. So, and that's going to obviously happen, like, next week. I don't know. Really...
No, actually, next
No?
week we're off. No,
Oh, there's actually a break.
Stall, yeah, so Stall and Salty play in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be the best of 5 with new maps.
Oh, yeah, because we're moving into
And,
the semi-finals next week. Next week. In a fortnight.
Correct. And congratulations to the Stall guys. That was something. Actually, the way Salty kind of does it is we watch the streams together as a team, and then we're in a Discord party, and we're talking about the game and talking strats and everything. And we were quite impressed with your play today. You guys, well played.
Thank you. Because it's H2, but we're very happy to that we made it, that we get this through. Андрей, нас поздравляют просто и говорят, что были поражены тем, как мы смогли это сделать, перевернуть игру первым, и как нам это удалось. Вот они смотрели всей командой и удивлялись тому, как мы все это перевернули.
see. I don't know what he said in Russian, but I also see Caton here's here. And,
Yeah.
holy cow, man! That game was our set between each other today was. I mean, it was epic. That second game, especially for you guys. I wish we could have tied, bro, because we have mad love for Crimson, and not just me to Caton, but our fleet, your fleet. We have mad respect and love playing with you guys and whatnot.
Yeah, from our side too as well.
Yeah,
Sweaty as hell.
when Saurox went down, and I got to see Mr. Swifty's name, I couldn't help but tell the story of how he got Mr. Swifty as a name. Like that is like literally how close like our fleets are together. I make up names for some of them. But yeah, that like the salty CRD battle that seems to come around like once a year is always a nail biter, and like I hate seeing either team lose. I'm a little bit glad it was salty this time, but you're not out. You're down in. You get moved into the lower bracket, so you've still got a chance. Yeah, you've still got one more life to make it through to the final.
Yeah, we could potentially face each other again in the championship, which would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I would.
But for the record, we seem to play CRD in tournaments twice a year, and our victory today, not that I'm counting, but CRD was up 2-1 in tournament play against us, so now we've only evened the score.
Now
So
it's our guys.
yeah. So we're looking forward to the next time.
Yeah, for sure.
And
It's always fun and sweaty as hell. Yeah.
it was very sweaty. I've seen Saurox run around with like 684 hit points, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh,
And it's weird. It's weird. I'm cheering on for both of you guys at the same time. It's a really weird experience for me. But I love watching you guys play because it's always like it's always a top quality game. There's no blowouts or anything.
Count, please give me 1 minute. Denise translate what you say.
Ребята просто обсуждают другую игру и говорят, что круто было наблюдать, и каждый раз прикольно, когда дракон играет с солевыми, и это всегда интересно. И непонятно, кто победит, потому что очень сильная одна команда.
Да, скажи, если
А ты
честно...
смотрел? Ты смотрел эти матчи?
Нет. Скажи, если честно, мы думали, что драконы, потому что мы с ними тренировались, и мы думали, что драконы, скажи, что мы тренировались, и мы думали, что драконы, победят Солти, потому что они очень крепкие. Мы с ними сыграли в ничью на тренировке 3-3, скажи, и, честно говоря, думали, что они Солти пройдут.
Actually, I was translating to Andrew. Andrew said that he was surprised that not CRD passed through because it always like thoughts that CRD is one of the maybe top of this TFN. It was a CRD, something like that. It's only our opinion, and we just trained before these matches with CRD, and that was tough. And we were very lucky and surprised and very happy to get the draw because 3-3 it was the result in training room. So anyway, it's very good that there was so tough and close games from both teams, and congratulations to Salty.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So, do you, Katan, do you know who you guys have got next, or has that not been decided yet?
I gotta look it up. It's probably GDM, I think, if I remember correctly. Guard Marines. Yeah. It should be Guard Marines.
Like I haven't seen Garda Marines play yet. They played earlier this evening, didn't they? I think I was
Yes,
covering
they
a
did.
different
They
a
played
different
today.
game. So how did they get on? What are your thoughts going into your next battle? I'm not going to ask the other two because they're fighting each other. So, but
Mm,
I know
yeah,
it's an awkward question, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
it's
just like
kind of an awkward question. I mean, it's I think it's the same as always. Try to give it our best and prepare and give it our best. Yes.
yeah, because it's like Garda Marine. Sorry, I feel like I'm so out of touch at the moment. Garda Marines are a relatively new team, aren't they? Or have they been around for a while?
Uh,
I've not
I think
covered
they're
one of their
around
matches.
for quite a while.
I've not covered
Yeah,
one of
they've
their
been
matches.
over a year.
Ah, see, to me that's one of the newer teams because like Wassa, Salty, CRD, Stall, you guys have been around forever.
Well, I have a question. This kind of was asked to me from another caster, but I wanted to see how Caton would respond to this, and Stall guys. Um, so you know, like how momentum it plays a huge role in the fleet battles, and so Caton, I mean specifically Caton, because we were in that game, but the Stall guys can answer as well. When you guys came back in that second game and you're facing, that third game is like do or die, and you have the momentum is kind of, you either have it or you don't have the momentum going into a do or die. How do you as a leader handle that with your team? Do you kind of do the cheerleader thing, or do you give words of encouragement, or how do you handle it?
I think it's a mix between encouragement and say to everybody stay calm. You know, was it's I think it's not that easy to stay calm in that situation, but I think some works like that could help. And I think you concentrate to the last game, either we win or we lose, but still try to give it our best. And yeah,
What about you, Battleship? What do you do in those do or die situations?
Let me translate, guys. Андрей, Джедай спрашивает, вот не раз уже были такие ситуации, когда мы в какой-то момент переворачиваем всю игру, собираемся, когда ситуация давит на нас настолько, что мы там проигрываем по очкам, теряем точки, та же самая первая игра вот сегодня. И как мы собираемся, как мы вообще принимаем решение, когда мы понимаем, что либо пан, либо пропал, и надо идти вперед, как себя ведут лидеры, мы что-то говорим, но лидеры что-то говорят, или специально, или все знают, что делать, и мы там, какие-то есть специальные слова для этого, как мы друг друга понимаем, что пора давить, там, допустим.
Окей. Значит, скажи, что, на самом деле это просто чувство момента, чувство игры. Когда ты смотришь, что сейчас либо ты сейчас пойдешь, то есть это не объяснить, это в моменте игры ощущается. То есть что чувствуешь, что если сейчас ты промедлишь и не сделаешь ничего, то ты точно проиграешь этот бой. И поэтому мы просто у нас хорошее взаимопонимание между игроками, и каждый знает свое дело. То есть попервой, да, у нас получается такое, что мы отдаем немного игру, но потом в момент ее переворачиваем благодаря просто слаженным командным действиям, и пониманием. Каждый игрок у нас знает, что делать в каждую минуту. То есть если мы проигрываем, это не значит, что мы там все сдаемся или все. Это просто план игры, часть игры, вот так.
Let's say it's about something between timing and feeling. If you feel that the do or die, or in Russian we say die but do, we just do it. So everybody knows what to do, the steps they took, and looking at stoppage and understanding the let's say, the moves, the next move for the same the certain ship, everything, everybody doing the job with let's say with 150%. They know what to do. It's like I said, between timing and feeling. And I agree with Stefan that you just like one organism, the team is feeling this moment and pushing this forward and trying to do everything to get back into game. So it's very hard to explain, even in Russian or in English, but you just feel it, and everybody within one team, like one fist, going forward and do it. Hopefully, when it go through, we're just lucky. That's all. Sometimes it not, but we're happy when it's good.
Sorry, I'm trying to mess around with all the links ready for the next battle. So, excuse me a little bit.
No problem. I'll answer how I would answer that to fill the dead air. So I think it's really hard for like when your backup is against the wall. I feel like it's really hard to come down on your players and be like, all right, guys, we're gonna tighten up the screws and we're gonna play technical. I mean, I think if you do too much coaching or yelling or preaching in that moment, you're already adding like a whole lot of stress on to an already super stressful situation. Um, so I think personally, I like it when we have guys that try and calm everybody down, make a joke, relax, no screaming. um, but it's this game is a lot like football. It's a big game of momentum. So it's as a commander or in the leader IGL, you have to know when the right time is to speak up and when the right time is just to kind of let the guys like breathe and relax.
When I'm leading SS2, I tend to have one of my colleagues step in with a really bad dad joke just before the start of the battle to help relax everyone a little bit, and sometimes works, but
It's important. It's important. I mean, it's so stressful. I'm still wound up about our game. I'm sure Kaiten is still wound up. I'm sure Battleship is still wound up from his game. Like, and it was 3 hours ago now.
I'm
So
wound up, and I was only watching.
I know it's crazy. So it doesn't help. It doesn't help to say even if someone screwed up in the previous game, and that's the reason why the momentum shift. I mean, that's not the time to put your finger in the wound. I mean, you might want to say something like, okay, let's not go broadside to the whole team, but you definitely don't want to call that player out and then put him like on edge. I mean, he's already on edge. If a player messes up at this level, when you're a top 20 fleet, this level, players all know when they mess up. So they don't need to be, reminded like, hey, you don't go broadside. Like that's pretty 101. So I don't know. It's the leading part is intriguing to me because it plays a huge role, and it's a little underestimated. I feel like we're always looking for talent and the win rate and all the stats. Like we want the best players, blah blah blah. But that's not necessarily what wins games. The best players, they win one-on-one battles. And to be honest, like myself and Kaiten are Battleship mains. You know how many times Kate and I, in the 3 tournaments that we've faced each other, you know how many times we've exchanged fire at each other? Like literally, like I think we've got like 4 salvos total to each other. So it's not so much about individual play. It's about, the team playing as a unit. And it's, as a leader, future leaders of fleets who are listening, it's, you have to get your head around that. It's about the training and practice you put into it as a team that gets you to where you're at. like the guys from Stall said, they are practicing with CRD every day. How often are you guys practicing Stall?
Let's say we're trying to get some streams every week. Maybe it's CIS. CIS countries like Russian-speaking community, and if we lucky, like there was, like I said recently, we just trained hopefully with dragons, and that was tough, and that was really sometimes it was I don't know how that was for dragons or Ketan himself, but for us it was so exciting, like it was the real game, because I believe we were back 2-0, and then turn mm, this moment and make it 2-2, 3-2 even, go into, and then 3-3 was the result. So such trainings it's like chess, you will get bigger, be bigger when you play with bigger players. So uh, answering how often we try to play every week, um, in training room with other guys, and
Денис,
this да,
скажи, что у нас, ну, реально без шуток, была одна тренировка перед игрой с Халками. То есть мы играли с драконами. И скажи, что
yeah.
драконы... ну ладно, что там было?
Да, я так скажу.
Сейчас, еще добавлю. И скажи, что драконы для нас были прям в большом почете, потому что прошлую тренировку на прошлом кубке, когда мы играли против них на тренировке, они нас просто как детей раскатали. Вот, и, соответственно, мы на эту тренировку думали, блин, ну что, будет так же? И, типа, когда мы сыграли даже с драконами 3-3, типа, на тренировке, мы реально почувствовали свой уровень. Но то, что драконы для нас были, так скажем, ну, не фаворитами, а как бы кумирами после той тренировки, то, соответственно, когда мы сыграли эту тренировку, мы такие, блин, нифига себе, мы выросли. Вот.
Yeah, these trainings, actually, frankly speaking, before whole game today, we got only training with CRD with these new maps, and that was very tough. Like I said, it was harder than the play today, I believe, even. So that's that training helped us to understand that we're improving ourselves as a team. So because a few tournaments before we trained with the dragons, and there is no way for us, no any chance, because everything end up with 0. We were lost all our ships or something like that. Hopefully we end up with the timer, but when we got this due 3-3 on this training, we understood that okay, we're good now. We're ready to take a battle with Hulks, and we're lucky that we get through. So thank you, Dragons, for this training. That was very, very helpful, and thank you again.
Always a
That was
pleasure.
exciting.
That was
Thank you guys as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to piggyback on what Dennis said, which was if you can find a fleet, again, speaking to just anybody listening, and your fleet is like mid-level, or you're thinking about starting a fleet, or you have an entry-level fleet, if you can start a relationship like Stahl and CRD have, like he was saying that, we came from a place and we were looking up to CRD, and we training with CRD. You know what that means? That means that CRD beat the shit out of them a whole bunch of times. And it's very easy for a team to get demoralized, but you have to stay on point as a leader and tell your guys, like, look, we got a learning curve here, but we have a gold mine in that they're willing to play us week after week and partner with us so we get better. And the proof is in the pudding. It works. And so, that's great. Good work to both you guys. And I would, encourage upcoming fleets, trying to find a top fleet that will partner up with you on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. It makes a big difference.
Денис, thank you.
Денис, переведешь, что Джеди Близ сказал сейчас?
Да, ну, он сказал, что да, все правильно ты говоришь, что вот это ну, не то чтобы рецепт успеха прям, но ты понимаешь, как ты растешь действительно, когда если ты играешь с драконами, и драконы хотят с тобой играть, значит, это уже показатель того, что вы такие крутые, вы растете и растете. Вот об этом. Guys, I just want to point that we do want to play more and more with such top fleets like you are. But you should understand the time shift. It's always very, let's say,
Денис,
for European guys to play with us.
Предложи драконам тренировку, скажи, перед гардемаринами мы готовы с ними снова потренироваться.
But if you, Katan, if you will be happy and to train with us again, we will be happy totally. It was a pleasure.
No. You cannot practice together. No, that's against the fleet network and salty rules. No.
Okay, Captain, we'll text you directly.
Что он сказал?
Они говорят, нет, вам уже нельзя тренироваться, вы сильно растете.
Katankura, it's funny, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, see, look, TFN Casting Network is bringing teams together.
Yeah. Happy to be in this family.
Денис, тогда или вы все уже заканчиваете?
Не знаю пока.
Скажи тогда
Right,
давай с Солти потренируемся.
Mr. Jedi, I am sharing my screen in here. I don't know if any of you other guys want to stay and like talk about the WOWSL SNA game as it goes on. They've just started, so we're covering that as well. I've got a busy schedule today.
Скажи, что мы пойдем уже, нам пора спать.
Sorry, we got late evening in Russia, so we have to go to bed, and tomorrow will be the working day. So sorry for that.
Too.
But it was a pleasure to conversate with you, and thank you for your patience for having this English
We've
hearing.
always got time for you guys. Always.
Thank you.
Thank you, JD, thank you, Ketan, and thank you, Hound.
Yeah, thank you too.
Oh, goodbye, guys. Good luck.
Goodbye.
Standard.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you in Fleet Cup.
Денис, давай зайдем в Steel Alliance на секундочку в нашу эту хуйню. Хоть чуть-чуть мне расскажешь там какие-то мелкие подруги на 2 минутки. Окей?
Хорошо. Okay, guys, thank you for inviting us for this interview, and thanks again for this conversation.
Not a problem. Our pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Goodbye.
Have a good sleep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Right. Alright, I gotta head out as well. Work tomorrow, so have a
Okay,
wonderful
then.
evening or good night. Oh, you
Okay.
are.
Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
thank you for joining us, and again, like as always, like a big like GG's to your team. Like you guys played really well, and it's genuinely, like from my perspective, a pleasure to watch you guys. And I look forward to seeing at least a few more rounds from you now that streaming's got to be done every week.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Was a pleasure. See you guys.
Yeah, take care. I don't know why these games sound really quiet to me. Are you watching now? I don't know if I've shared the screen or just one screen with you. I think I might have messed up. Change window. It's screen I want to share, not window. There we go. Right, so we are back again with even more action. We're going to try and cover as much of Salty Wassa versus Shock and Awe as we can. I'm the only person covering Nord and UFO, which is going to be another tough game. So if this match goes into a third battle, I think unfortunately we're going to have to miss that out, and jump over to watch Nord versus UFO. So this is an extra, like a free stream for you guys. So what's your thoughts, Mr. Jedi, on this battle? Like, Shock and Awe are a very good team. They've always done well, but
Wait. You keep on referring to Joker Node. I know you were playing them next. That's the next game. Did you mean?
yeah, this is
Wassa,
Shock and
or
Awe. This is Wassa versus Shock and Awe now. Like,
Okay. So you're asking me about the JN game?
no, I'm asking you about Wassa and Shock and Awe.
Okay.
So like,
got you.
Shock and Awe are obviously they're a very
So
good
this
team. They've been really
game-
competitive.
This is a very interesting game. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're talking about the number one overall team in Wassa, and I think Shockana is 8th in ELO ranking, maybe 7th. I'm doing it from memory, so they're right there. Definitely, two top 10 teams right now. A great day for the Fleet Network. You had the top 8 teams going at each other today, and this game's no different. You have Wassa, which I think they've only lost like one tournament set in the last 12 months, maybe even longer. So that is a big challenge for Shock and Awe to come in and take the champs right now, reigning champs. So
I'm
we'll see what they
watching,
can put
and
together.
where
I'm looking at the screen here.
this is a really aggressive game because Shock and Awe have lost their DD, but Habif is. He's on his last legs. He's on 280 hit points. He just about finishes off the Shock and Awe Monarch. But like this is shaping up to be this is shaping up to be a really different game than CRD versus Salty. Like CRD versus Salty was sort of it felt like a chess match. It was very patient, and as soon as it was a mistake, they were jumping on it. But these guys almost look like they're just going like they're going straight at each other straight off the bat. They're being far more aggressive than what I'd be expecting.
I don't know. I don't know if I would think that's a great strategy idea. If that was a SNA strategy going in, maybe they're trying to steal one by kind of trying to catch Wassa off guard. I'm watching Habib's hit points here. I'm distracted. But generally in these games, I know there's from a spectator standpoint, you like to see this. You like to see teams be aggressive and come straight out. From a strategy standpoint, though, it's not the best. And you see SNA paid the price early. They're down. They were down 2 ships to 0. Now, they were able to, looks like, get Habib out. So maybe there's chance. I know it's hard to tell because we're coming into the game a minute or two late. Maybe WOWSL has sustained a lot of damage already. What does it look like to you, Hive? Are they looking healthy, or are they looking like they're in
In
trouble?
in all fairness, I think yeah, Wassa are definitely suffering less from the early sort of very aggressive behaviours from both teams. Like
Mhm.
losing Habib is big because I think anyone who's been watching for long enough knows Habib's one of the best battleship players out there. But to sacrifice another battleship and a DD to get rid of Habib is I don't know if that's the I don't know if that's how you beat the number one team. Um, they've done a good bit of damage, SNA sort of across the board, but they've taken so much. They've taken so much damage early that
Yeah, it's hard for me to speak like completely open about what they should or shouldn't do because it kind of dictates into my thoughts on what Salty should do, and we potentially play both of these teams yet. But I'll just say this: um, you're playing, and when you're facing Wassa or Salty or Crimson, when you're facing one of the top dogs who's been doing this for over a year, you don't want to rush into the teeth of the jaws of the shark that's waiting for you. Typically, it's kind of like you're gonna know within the first 2 minutes if you're gonna win that battle or not. To me, I'd rather take my chances and like wait for the right moment or wait for the other team to make mistakes.
yeah, and like this is something sort of I've learned over the last couple of months. Sort of taking on the mantle of Salty 2, which is
Hmm.
the level of gameplay. Like in standard or when you're playing, just a good team, you can get away with one or two mistakes. But as soon as you start playing these like top 15s, you make one mistake and they are gonna punish you really hard and really fast, and not in a fun way, not in a
Yeah.
not in a way you'd pay for. And
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. When you're going into a game, I see here this game is now pretty much one-sided.
yeah,
So I'm going to talk a little bit outside the game, but more about general strategy. When you go load into the game, you see, it's one carrier, and so one class is going to have either two DDs, two cruisers, or two battleships. And if you lose one of those DDs, or let's say you're only playing with two cruisers, and you lose one cruiser to a mistake early, that puts so much pressure on the other cruiser player to support the DD like perfectly because the DD now without a cruiser has got battleship support from two caps, which is like that's like what? That's like close to no support basically. And so it's you don't want to be making mistakes. I mean, no matter what class you are, but I'm just saying the good teams realize that. If you come in with two cruisers and you lose a cruiser, well, now you don't have DD support for half the map. If you come in with two DDs and you lose one DD, well, now you don't have spotting for half the map. So it's critical. You when you do push, or if you're going to play straight out aggressive, that you do it as a team. You live together, you die together type thing. If you got one guy that's holding back, it's not going to work.
yeah, 100%. You can kind of so it's like as you were saying earlier, it's like individually, like all of these players, all of the players in the fleet network individually are really good players, but it's that team component that really sort of sets your Wassa apart from your Salty 2. I'll use Salty 2 for example. I don't mind doing that at all, but it's like the level of sort of coordination and everything between them. Like obviously we're not sitting in here, we can't listen to them talk, but it's almost like they know what each other is going to do, and that just makes such a difference. They focus their targets down. They do it really quick, and that's how you've seen this game, which started off like I said, it was very aggressive. It looked pretty even, but then so quickly, WOWSL turned it round to a rather nasty beating to not
Yeah.
I don't want to hold my punches. I don't want to sound like I'm being mean or anything, but like in the way they flipped it round and so quick. And this is, SNA are a top 8 team, and that's just how quickly the games can turn to a loss from a
Yeah.
being too
It's,
aggressive or not being aggressive together enough.
we talked about
capitalize
in the
on
pregame
it.
about how it's a team game, not necessarily an individual game. Um, and it's I've tried to impress on our team, all of our teams, all of our competitive players, that it's not the best will play. It's the the um, the best of the willing, the best of the committed. That's what it is. The best of the committed are gonna play, because honestly, like even like Gillis and Toda playing in DD right now for WASA, I'm assuming they're playing. Um, their chances of them getting in a one-on-one battle against I don't know if it's Philandra or Monk. I didn't see the starting lineup, but the chances of the DDs getting in a one-on-one fight here in this battle is very, very minimal. They're gonna get into a fight, but one of those DDs is gonna have support. That's where the difference comes in, and that's where playing together, like what you were just saying, Hive, makes the difference.
Yeah. And it does matter if you're the best player in the world. Even if you're in a 2-on-1 against two really good players, you're probably not walking out of that victorious, which is what I think makes the big difference. Oh, I need to change screens here.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the best, in a DD situation, the best DD players will, they'll break engagements if they don't have the, if they get into an engagement and they didn't mean to, they'll break the engagement off until they have the support necessary. And those are the kind of players you want to look for as you're putting together a team, or you're thinking about, how can I be a better player? Well, it's all about teamwork, supporting each other.
Oh, it is so round 2. As someone who's played competitive for a long time, what do you think the team chat of Shock and Awe is right now? What would you be saying to what would you be saying to us if that was us? We just got, firmly rolled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would?
I'm looking at the lineups to see who's playing on both sides, and what I would say is, after that experiment, I would definitely go back to a passive play style. I mean, you have to win the second game. They know that. Their nerves are going 100 miles an hour. They're like, hair is on fire right now. SNA. Wasa is a little bit more chilled, relaxed. I mean, this is a situation we were just in about an hour ago. The nerves don't help. So you don't want to. The guys already know it's do or die right here for SNA. If their intent, I don't know for sure if their intention was to be aggressive in that first game straight away. Maybe it just happened that way, or you had a player who saw an opportunity and miscalculated. I don't know, but I might say something like, hey, that last game didn't go too well. Let's, if our strategy is the same second game, I would say something like, okay, let's get back to basics. Let's make them make a mistake. Let's. It's kind of hard to talk about strategy specifically without knowing how they're all reading up. But I see now they're reading up, so I can speak more directly to it. So they're going. Wasa's going with 3 DDs, and let's see.
Same for SNA. SNA are running split Friesland and black, so they've got 2 radars in their DD lineup.
Mm-hmm. And Wasa's got 3 BBs. 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 3 B
So that's going to put
So we got
a
three
lot of
three
pressure on
cruisers.
their 2 cruiser players for
Yeah,
WOWSL.
exactly. So if I'm Hazy, or Monk or Sky, I'm not sure who their IGL is, but I'm telling the carrier player, focus the Wassa cruiser player, one of them, and I would be directing traffic here a little bit, saying, all right, let's focus one of the cruiser players. That's going to compromise your DD in that cap, and that's where I would be looking at the weakness, just based on the lineup, not on anybody's playing ability.
So A flank looks to be the weak side for both teams, because the carriers both spawned on C. So C is where we're going to see all the action. I think early on. So I don't know which team to watch as this sets out. So this is something that you can probably comment. I can comment on as well, but it's nice to get other people's opinions. But I noticed in the CRD Salty game that the CRD carrier went straight across and tried scoring some damage straight away, whereas Salty went straight and across and tried to collect as much data as possible. Like, from a competitive standpoint, like, how important is that extra bit of information? Like, how much more valuable is that at the start of a game from your perspective?
To me, demo is the prototypical CV player. I'm not sure. Maybe we can see what Juza is doing here, and Hazy are doing here. But essentially, as a DD player, holy cow, you know how important that information is to know what kind of DD you're up against, and if you have a radar cruiser or not. Going straight away for a damage or a big hit, I mean, okay, that's a very it's great. Obviously, it can actually turn the game. But I mean, we've seen that happen for us last Winter Cup a couple times. Actually, against SNA, I remember Monk was in Akizuki, and actually took him out because it's a very slow DD.
Yeah.
So DD's not even getting up to full speed, and the carrier planes are right there. He dropped him, took him out straight away. Like it was. And then he switched DDs after that. We talked about it afterwards, so I'm not talking out of school. It was kind of like, haha, yeah, I'm not doing that again moment. But, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for the carrier player to do that. I think the intel is way more valuable.
Yeah, it's a very risky strategy going for that damage first. Like, if it comes off, which, like, how often do you see a DD getting nuked in the first 2 minutes of a battle? A good DD player, I should clarify. If we're talking about standard, the chances of seeing a DD player nuked in the first 2 minutes is about 95%.
Right.
but in competition battle, the chances of nuking a DD in the first, even in the first 5 minutes it's really difficult. And
well, it's so in these carrier games, you know that you're probably going to have a Friesland. So if you're facing a Friesland, you already know you don't have to worry about torps as the other DD player.
yeah,
If you know you're up against a Lo Yang, okay, well, you're gonna, you got to be careful. Lo Yang's a DD killer, but you're not going to be in radar, so you can play a different way. So and if you're up against a split, well, you better just pray. It's just like you got to really pick and choose what you're doing when you're up against a split or a black that's got the onboard radar. But that's the thing, is like if you get that intel early, then you know how to adjust your game, how to approach the cap. You already know if you have radar on your side, whether it's on your ship or your cruiser mate behind you has radar. I mean, all that factors in how you play DD and how you handle a cap.
Yeah, I'm watching Habifio and I was like, oh, I can understand why he pushed, but I feel like this might potentially be a mistake, which you don't see often from from WOWSL's general. The Nebraska's got his broadside. He's got a Belfast burning him down. But nothing's happening in return. He's just giving away free damage. And then that's J Trank, I'm guessing, with the radar. And really needs to capitalise on this to make that hit points he just lost sort of worth it.
How dare you question the MVP of the Winter Cup?
But yeah, I can see what his thought process was, especially having the radar close by. But it was from a Habib perspective, it was a bit unfortunate that he didn't do more damage to that Belfast. But
the Belfast is so squirrely, so hard to deal with. He's got his own onboard smoke. He's got radar. He's got everything. So if you have an opportunity to take that Belfast out, or at least make him scared, so he's not sitting on the cap, it's hard to pass that up. Such a dangerous and valuable ship in this tournament.
I'm just looking at time-wise. Actually, Joker is supposed to be... fair play. Joker have messaged me asking me, do I want to wait? Do they want us to wait for them? We are going to have to skip out on the rest of this match because it took them a bit of a while to get going. But
okay.
Joker the Joker match is the one I was. Nobody else is covering them, and I want to make sure they get the coverage. So,
yeah.
Okay. So
if you don't, did you want me to stay with you, Hive, or?
You're more than welcome to. It is entirely up to you. I will not hold anyone to you by gunpoint.
It's too late. You use bombs, I know. Don't use guns. Less evidence.
Maybe what I can do is I don't think we should try and comment on the two of them, but we could comment on the two of them would be would be mad even for me.
Mm-hmm.
So hang on, bear me. Let me just get UFO's perspective, because like I almost feel like this is the more sort of pivotal game happening tonight, because all of the other matches, win or lose, everyone's still got another match. But UFO versus Joker, these are two very highly ranked teams, but one of them is going home and one of them is going to be out of the Winter Cup completely.
Yeah, certainly. Oh boy, look at those torps.
We've got some audio from Joker. I don't know if you heard that then, but all I could do was wee, which is amazing. Even in a competitive battle, these guys are still finding the fun in the game, which is awesome to hear. But I will mute them for the moment at least.
Both teams are very good. This is the first game in their set, correct?
Yes, this is the first game in their set, and like I said, I feel there's definitely a lot more pressure overall on this game than.
Oh yeah.
There's always pressure, always, especially when you're playing one of the top fleets. But when win or lose, if you lose, you're out. That's gonna dial it up a little bit more.
Kind of interesting right now how UFO is going with 2 DDs. They did that against us last week as well, the 2 DDs, and that going into a match when you think there's only 2 DDs, it's kind of risky. But they have been playing this strategy consistently. So kudos to them. It looks like their strategy is basically grab the flanks and give up the middle. That's kind of like what the caps indicate as well.
Yeah, so Salty 2 played them as well. We had a well, we scrimmed with them and we had a match with them, and they it's something you don't see. I haven't seen any other team do, whereas they really try and capitalize as much as they can on their cruisers DPM. They'll smoke up their cruisers and watch their cruisers wail on people. Against us, we weren't prepared for that. I don't know how many teams are prepared for something like that, but it definitely caught us by surprise. And they've already taken out one of Jokernaut's battleships. But I feel, that was risky by Rowan. He dunked himself into the island. He has chased off the Lo Yang, but that was a bit risky.
Yeah.
And having both of their DDs in the same cap with only two.
Yeah. What is that? That's a bit crazy.
Are they trying to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? So sort of completely overwhelm this flank.
Yeah,
And then,
I mean, that's obvious. By their ship positioning, I would say they have 2 ships over C, 1 ship over B, and everybody else is in A. So on this particular map, you have those 2 big islands between B and C. It's difficult to play with those islands. They add a whole lot of protection to that C cap. And also, it's very hard to get back into B and A once you've committed to that cap, to a C cap. So it's, from a strategy standpoint, it's interesting what they're doing. Just different ships, and this map for sure with those 2 big islands has its own unique challenges.
He's getting awfully close to that Chapayev. I know he's got an island in between him, but he's awfully close to that Chapayev, and he knows there's a DD or 2 around still. Oh, is Adidas going to take a taupe? No, he dodges them. Oh no! Oh no! That was awfully close.
Wow.
Right, let's flip over to Jokernaut. Oh, at least we get a bit of an aerial view. That is 2 very near misses on both of the UFO DDs. How are we doing hit points wise? It does look like UFO have got the advantage.
Did you catch who was playing for UFO?
I didn't. I know obviously Rowan's playing. No, I didn't, because we missed the very start, didn't we?
Okay.
So I can potentially skip back and see if we can.
No, it's not necessary. Oh man.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's have a. Oof. That's.
That was the game was like very, very close there, right up to 6-minute mark. And then it looks like Jokernaut lost.
In all fair,
They lost a cruiser there.
Yeah, UFO kind of done the same with us. Although they done it a bit quicker, admittedly, but they scored quite a bit of damage quite early, quite early on, and then because you don't want to lose ships, it makes you sort of hold back, and that's when UFO will start applying a load of pressure, which is exactly what they're doing here. Did someone just come in here and then leave?
I don't know.
I heard the noises, like someone popped into the chat and left.
Yep, JN's just lost a third ship. This is the time, the 5-minute mark. It's kind of like, it should be like little indications throughout the game, time spots, like the 10-minute, 5-minute mark, where the IGL is doing some analysis of what's going on in the game and making calls out for the entire team to work as a unit. Right now, if I'm JN, I'm telling those 6 ships, like, okay, we're down, I'm not telling them we're down 300, they could see that. But they're down 300, they're down caps. They need to make a move now. It's do or die. If they don't, if they just, one guy's trying to be the hero, it doesn't work. They need to work together as a unit and all try and make something happen here together.
It's quite difficult with how spaced out they are as well. This Kansas really is on his own, out on this flank. So he's essentially a sitting duck. It'll allow. I don't think. Oh, there is a cruiser in play for UFO. It allows the cruiser to just farm him, and there's not much he can do in return. He's obviously directly fighting the battleship there, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to make a difference. And I think Jokanoda are about to lose. There we go. They have lost their Kansas to Sheeny in the Lion. So Sheeny's playing. We know that much. Anyone does know, Sheeny, fellow Welshman, much like myself.
There's more than one?
Yes, there's 4 of us.
Okay, that's acceptable. Let's keep it to that.
No more than 4 Welsh people. It's all I've got that's special for me, so please, no more Welsh people.
Let me have it. Let me have it.
I'm trying to think.
We don't want to turn this into like the whole Canadian USA national anthem fight that happened yesterday.
Ooh, what did I miss?
The Canadians, so we had a hockey game, and USA was visiting Canada, and when they sang the national anthem, the fans had nothing of it. They were booed the whole way through. And within the first 10 seconds of the game, 3 fights broke out. It's something. It's worth viewing after this when you get the full game recap of what's going on.
Obviously,
Mr. Hive.
Obviously, you were busy whilst I was streaming the first couple of matches. But in between the first 2 matches, we had like a bit of like a 40-minute period. So I watched a compilation, the hockey compilation. So it's like, but it also got my stream turned off. And NBC have copyright claimed. I don't know if it's a claim or a strike. I haven't read the email yet, but I did see it pop up.
Well, that's not nice of them. Oh, hit the brakes. Nice. Rowan turned into the torps there, taking the torp, but it was before it armed.
Oh right. Oh no, it was just a copyright notice. Basically, if you stream NBC's stuff, they'll turn your stream off until you stop. Basically, I've learned something new every day. I thought that would be fair use, but I guess fair use only works with videos because they can't tell how much of it you're watching or something in a row, maybe. And they can't tell if you're doing commentary or whatever. That's fair enough, but I have learnt.
Well, this carrier is trying to get Rowan out. Like, Rowan's like pivotal in the game, but I mean, he is pivotal, but the game's only got a minute left.
Yeah, you'd want to be killing like a battleship if you can because of the points difference that makes.
Yeah, Rowan doing the right thing here, just playing defensive, not really engaging. He's now he looks like he might be engaging, but there's only what 10 seconds left.
Yeah, we're in the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, he's just trying to stay alive, preserve his health. He's switching speeds, trying to avoid from taking bombs. Good job. Rowan's a good player.
So who have they got? Oh, Lord Anubis, Koenig, Sheeny, Tubster, Penguin. In all fairness, I think it is pretty. It is their stronger. It is their strongest players, from what I'm aware of.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. Mafi also at CV is very strong.
He's ridiculously good.
Yep.
And he seems to be one of the only ones I've seen actually using the graph SPI in comp, which is probably why. Well, I don't know. So how would you counter that? Only take 2 cruisers? I think.
No, man. I mean, my advice on that is to bring smoke cruisers, put radars on the DDs and maybe Missouri. Having smoke cruisers with good, strong AA, you know, like Rochester, Anchorage, Belfast. Like when the cruisers have their own smoke, it helps them stay in the battle more as far as defending the DDs and supporting them. If their radar cruiser is just sitting behind the islands, well, first of all, your support is only when you're out from behind the island, right?
Yeah.
Talking about this game doesn't just have carrier air. You have DE, you have Nebraska. So you have a lot of air. So if you're sitting behind an island in a radar cruiser, you're an easy target.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Asking to get rocked.
I'm a fan of putting smoke on the cruisers. Yeah, I know you can smoke up cruisers from your DDs, but the DDs having their own smoke when they need it, that's kind of important. So that would be my suggestion.
And I forgot I didn't really catch Jokernaud's lineup. They've gone Friesland, Orkachov, Chapayev. Chapayev's really weak to AA.
Yeah, it is.
Like that's
It's a big liability. No smoke. It's not. So here's the thing about the speed of the cruiser. The top speed of the cruiser is not nearly as important as how mobile or how it accelerates. Because
Rowan's hit by radar here, and he looks like he could be in a bit of trouble very early on.
Ouch. Lost half his health in that engagement. Still under radar. There he goes.
That's 2/3.
Nice blind fire. Real nice blind fire from JN there. I know on PC, ship acceleration is a stat. They don't give it to us on console. I don't know why. But I do know, ships have that module for more acceleration.
Rowan's caught in sonar as well here. This could actually be really big because that split is really important, and I don't think he's escaping this engagement at all. That was big. Like, well done to Jokernaud. They focused fire really well. That low yang coming in for that spot was big. Although it did cost their low yang half of their hit points. So Colas needs to get the hell out of there pretty quick. I think.
That's a good trade. And those hit points came from the CV. I mean, what are you going to do about the CV? That's actually kind of the point I was just making about the acceleration, because we all know Luo Yang is no speed demon. So the acceleration, to me, acceleration is like almost more important than the top speed for cruisers and DDs alike. I mean, you're talking about Luo Yang. Luo Yang is so slow, and its acceleration is horrific. I mean, for a CV player, that's like, he sees you, he's going to hit you.
Yeah. Well, a good CV player. I might. You might escape me, but
No.
you're not going to escape your demos and your moffies. That's
No,
for
no.
sure. And I'm trying to figure. It's hard. I want to see more of Jokernaut's perspective, but
See, so Mafi just took that Luo Yang out.
yeah,
He got the big hit, went right back to him. He knew where he was at. Knew, he has no escapability, because how far is a Luo Yang gonna get between flights? Not very far. He probably just got around
well, you
that
can
island,
see he
like,
got a square away on the map.
Yeah.
He literally got a square away. He was quite easy to hunt back down.
Yeah, Mafi's gonna get that every time.
So that was, although it was a very big loss for UFO losing the split, that's when also losing a Luo Yang. It's not ideal. And I'm kind of hoping for a
But
very
I'm
close
telling
game
you right
here.
now, where it hurts UFO more on that trade is that UFO now only has one DD, so they can only spot half the map. That's huge. I would be surprised if UFO can can come back from that kind of deficit. Even though, well, it's tied right now essentially. One cap each, 2 ships down each. Got a 40-point difference on the points.
Nebraska pushing the Champagne. I guess this is actually probably a good move. Jokernaut doing the right thing, hitting that Nebraska with HE, because trying to punch the nose of a Nebraska with the AP is pretty futile. That thing's armor is quite ridiculous. But
I've had good
trading wise, they're
citadelling.
kind of doing all right.
Go ahead, say that again.
I said the trading of it actually, like Jokernaut are doing doing pretty well. I thought that Nebraska pushed round in a really strong position. He was almost full health, but Jokernaut is definitely making him pay for that decision, and he looks like he switched to AP at just the right time as well. Like he's playing really well. Jokernaut have lost both of their DDs. No, sorry, UFO have lost both of their DDs.
Yep, see, that's what I'm saying. Now, UFO isn't, the score is tied, but everything's tied, but no, this JN is in the driver's seat.
2 caps to 1. Like it's gonna be quite hard for UFO to take either of those caps back. And Jokernaut just need to play it cool now. They just need to take it nice and easy, and they'll take the victory on this one. Oh, I'm hearing gunshots.
Let's see.
Tubster's taken a lot of damage as well. He might go down quite soon. I don't know what happens to your audio. You sound like an 80-year-old man now.
Oh, I do?
Oh, there we go. That's better.
I switched off of onto my cellular data because you were cutting out on me a little bit. So I was like, oh, my internet's going out. So I switched.
And this is like a good example of like the mistakes. So the pressure was really on Tubster then. They lost both their DDs. They really needed to take caps. He was trying to contest that cap in a Monarch and was just focused down. Juggernaut handled that really well.
Yeah. With a score 1-0 UFO, they're in the driver's seat now. They're starting to get momentum. They can't make mistakes, and this is critical time right now. Don't make mistakes. You gotta watch UFO players when they start pushing. You gotta penalize them, push them back. Don't do anything stupid as JN. There's no need to risk. This is where games are won and lost. If you have a 1JM player is like, I'm going to be the hero and go for a big kill here, and then he gets clapped, that you're going to lose it for the whole team. You'll lose the whole set.
So look at this. I feel almost a bit concerned. It's like, yeah, UFO have done a great job. They've actually taken back B, which is big considering they're up against 2 DDs. That shouldn't have happened. But then they've got 3 players really, really close together there in B. And if Juggernaut can utilise those islands from the A flank, they could lose a lot of health points really, really fast. And how is the split spotted?
I don't know. But that is a mistake. I think he must have fired. That's what I was just talking about.
I was looking. I can't see radars. Yeah, that was really risky and completely unnecessary. You could have just kept them spotted and let the battleship and the cruisers start dealing damage.
That's a huge mistake. He gave up like half of his health right there.
And the cruiser as well, sort of open watering the Lion. Juggernaut are taking the sea cap back though. Let's flip back over to Juggernaut.
Okay.
They didn't capitalise on how much damage they put on that Nebraska quite early. Nebraska's still really dangerous, and if you just leave it alone, he's gonna send planes your way, which is never gonna be fun.
It's such a strong ship.
I'm surprised they didn't press the advantage, and they kind of pulled back as much as they did on sea.
UFO lost another ship. Jan's starting to pull forward now, putting some space into the lead.
And they own A, and they're taking B and C as well.
Yeah, and that's why we see that split there now. He's got like I don't know, what has he got, like 1,000 hit points now in B? But this is where that mistake, if he had been killed there, this is a different game. And that was a very unnecessary risk that he took mid-game. The game's over now. I mean, he can go to the back of the map and just save his points. He's still being somewhat aggressive, which is it's not really warranted. When you're down, if this was their game to win the set, okay, have your fun. Go for it. But when you're in a must-win game, I don't like that risk.
But there's nothing there to counter him. He's in his smoke, isn't he? And I don't think there's... Besides the ship getting close enough to detect him.
Well, Moppy could drop them, trap torps in there blindly. Maybe they don't know how exactly low he is. Maybe. Yeah, it's over now though. I'm just saying in general, and as a risk, when it's a must-win game, you got to be passive and conservative at that position. When the 2 DDs went down for UFO, you knew that they were in trouble. That's a high risk reward deal with UFO. They've been playing that lineup consistently. They've gotten away with it, but this time it caught up to them. Now, I'm assuming they're going to go with it again because this is what they've been playing. So I'm assuming this is what they've been practicing, and we're going to run it again. So it'll be interesting to see if JN capitalizes on that, tries to set up some DD traps, and in the next game to try and take that advantage away. Take advantage of having only half the caps being spotted by one DD.
Yeah, well, they certainly capitalised on it this time, and like well played to Juggernaut. Like I said, that this is one of these teams are getting sent home. So this last match, the nerves are going to be high for both the teams. But you've got to think Juggernaut are going in with a bit more confidence after that win, because that was
Well, like I had mentioned earlier today, momentum is so big in these games. So even though I would say UFO's first win was more convincing, the fact that UFO is coming off of a loss now, and this is a must-win game for them, oh my gosh, their nerves are on fire. They're shaking, they're sweating. I mean, literally sweating. Like the hands are not gripping like they normally grip the controller. And that was a fast ready up. Holy cow! They're like, let's get to it.
They done the same with us. They were like bump, and no change in lineup whatsoever. They're sticking to their strategy, hoping it works out for them again. All that.
I can't believe neither team didn't slow the pace up right there and just, collect themselves. Like, this is do or die, and they're just like, let's go get it. It's kind of cool. Let's see how it plays out.
If you had to put money on a team right now, which one would it be?
Yes.
There's a gun to your head. You have 3 seconds.
I don't want to make that call.
Oh, God damn it. Nobody will answer these tough, controversial questions ever.
Both teams are good. I'm good friends with both teams. They've made it far deep into this tournament for a reason. They're both excellent. I'm partial to, I have some friends on UFO, and so I'm a little partial to them, but I'm good friends with Lockhart too, and I want them to play their best. I don't want there to be mistakes. That's what makes these games fun. I like air-free games where both teams, it's coming down to the last minute. Both teams are on 2 hit points, but everybody's still alive. That's what makes it fun.
I like it when when it's literally down to the last couple of seconds and there's a few points in it. I think I've only seen 1 or 2 matches that have ever gone like that close, but when they do, my God, the heart doesn't stop racing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I'm gonna say if I had to bet money right now, I'd probably say just because the first win was a bit more convincing for UFO, I'd put it to UFO. But if Juggernaut take what they done in that last match, and if they can recreate it and cause those traps, then UFO gonna suffer.
UFO is playing with fire with the 2 DD lineup. I'm telling you, if it's gonna depend here. Really, you can tell a lot by the first ship that goes down. If it's the DD, one of the DDs from UFO goes down first, it's JM's game, 100%. I would say. So it's kind of fun to see. You know, they're playing very high risk reward strategy here.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the UFO cruisers to put out a lot of DPM very early with the lineup they've got.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have some very, very good cruiser players. So
somehow the DD on C got reset. So that bodes well for UFO. I mean, they should be getting a free cap right now. It must have been Monty and Carrier probably reset the DD and C, I'm guessing.
yeah, we
Meanwhile,
did see his
UFO
planes
takes
over there
B,
just
which
now.
is big. Now that UFO took B, they're able to free that DD, and he can go over to C if he wants. He can stay in C and secure the cap. He can come over here and help out with Rowan, go 2 for 1 on the DD over here. Although that's what they did the first game, and it looks like he's heading towards Rowan right now. I kind of don't like that strat when you have both DDs in one cap.
Yeah,
And now it looks like he's turning away. Are they listening to us?
maybe. Although I don't know why they would. I don't know why they would listen to me. You maybe. They're like, oh, Jedi's there. I'll pay attention now.
Oh yeah, right. Jedi say don't go to A, go to C. Okay, let me turn around. You turn.
There's that AL chappie. Is Moffy gonna now know where he is? Are we gonna see some
A dub strike here,
dive
maybe.
bombers?
Rowan's pinging the location of a DD. DD is about 10 away, though. His twist and track is bouncing back and forth between the DD and the cruiser. Cruiser, he knows, is 9.6. DD is now within 9.6. Rowan's trying to cap and keeping a spot out, get those torp angles down for his partner over there.
See,
I can't tell. What is it? A cruiser? Yeah, a cruiser to the left of the island in A.
I was about to say that cruiser at A sitting there in the smoke is kind of asking for torpedoes, and when you seen it move over, and then I seen the torpedoes, I'm like, I should have said it. Because
Yeah.
now I just look like I'm calling the play where I read the situation. But
And you also called Mafi going for the AL Chappie. Look,
Yeah.
Mafi's right over him right now. So kudos to you. Hey man, Hive knows what he's talking about. He's seeing the game before it unfolds.
it's just such an easy target for the carrier. It would be silly for him not to. I think you probably, well, I don't know. See his bombers are heading towards. He's looking for the DD and B, which is probably the smart move. That Chapayev's behind the island at the moment and not really in a position to do anything. So saving A is resetting B. Sorry, is probably the right move. And they've
Very
done it again.
interesting.
They've got their
Like,
two
UFO
DDs
is
going
about
for the
to get
same
all
cap.
3 caps.
No, about to lose all 3 caps. This Jokernode.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
My
it's-
bad. My bad.
They're
That's
holding
why I
on
thought
to
it was
A.
interesting with the DD at disadvantage. I was like, how are they getting all 3 caps? You're right. I misread it. I'm rolling on
Oh.
the radar here.
Yeah. Oh, and a Friesland. A Friesland is very dangerous if you're in a DD.
It's like a meta ship for this competition because of its AA, but it's definitely a DD killer.
Draz keeps on shouting at me whenever I play the Friesland in standard, but like it is because even though it doesn't have torps, it really can make such a huge impact. And is Rowan being harassed by the? I think Rowan is about to be harassed by the CV. Oh, is he? Oh, that was very close.
Nice dodge. Nice dodge. He made some really good dodges game one as well from the CV standpoint. Rowan's definitely practiced dodging carrier drops. It's very, very evident.
Oh, there we go. So UFO have taken back C. They've done the same again. They've had they've like Jokenode have. I don't know if I'd go as far to say they've got an advantage, but they've got a strong position over at C, and they've just let it sort of slip away. I was a bit confused to who Rome was shooting at then. It looked like he was shooting at the split, but it wasn't very well aimed. And then the Friesland. But I think, what would you be aiming at? What would you? I would have been trying to take out the split first because of that radar. That radar is big.
Well, the split's lower life as well, isn't he?
No, the split was full health. The Friesland had taken a bit of a hurting, but the Friesland was going to be out of range, out of sight.
Yeah, the split's definitely more dangerous, but Rowan took some damage from that Friesland, and I know sometimes players remember that, you know, and they're like, okay, this is my chance to get some payback here. Personally, I don't really play that way, but I know there's a lot of guys that.
What do you mean?
I've even seen battleships like return fire to ships they shouldn't be firing at because they were fired upon. It's very. It was the best way to play.
It was the 24th of August 2002, and I still owe you 2 citadels, and you will receive them one day.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy to me. Especially like if you get hit by like a Zao that's like 20 kilometers away, you know, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna return fire against that guy.
Yeah, it's like
good luck hitting him.
It's like the trap people fall into in standard battles with kiting cruisers, and it's like the best thing you can do is just ignore them. Like you have to just ignore them.
Nubius goes down as the first ship here in this pivotal set. Wow, that's big.
But
down to the 5-minute mark, and only one ship's gone down. Caps have been constantly changing. This has been a great game.
This has been. This is the chess match you expect to see at this level, and yeah, this match is literally going to go down to the wire. Yeah, UFO are slightly down on points right now, but they're contesting B. They've got A and C. So they're definitely, as long as they don't do anything stupid or lose 2 ships in quick succession, Jokenode, the pressure is really on Jokenode to do something. But they've got those. Jokenode's got 2 of their DDs in the mid, and I don't know. Besides contesting B, they don't really seem to be utilising them very well. I probably would have pushed one over to C.
You see how the UFO DDs, both of them are behind the midpoint. If you drew a line right down the middle of the map, both their DDs are back. They don't want to make the same mistake they made last game. They know how critically important they are to their team to survive.
Is Rowan going to take the shot on that low Yang? He's.
Oh, I would take that.
I would. He's not going to do it.
Rowan, take the shot.
He's in a good position. He's got nothing that can shoot back at him, really.
Yeah, that's what he was checking that out. Let's go, Ro. Oh, and UFO lost another cruiser, is it?
Oh, no, it's battleship. Oh, that little bit of hesitation.
Oh, Ro. Go back for it. No?
No, he's radard. He's radard. He needs to stay in, because that
He still has shots. That's what I'm saying. That's a big kill right there. Come on, Ro.
oh that Lo Yang. he's gonna be praying.
Oh man.
He's been praying to RN Jesus, isn't he? Ah, oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
That was
that was huge for UFO. Basically, they pull back into the play here with that kill. Wow, look at this. 2 minutes left and only 3 ships down.
And what's
UFO's
that?
got another
What's that?
cruiser,
40
like,
points.
1 hit point.
40 points in it. Like, this could turn around in a second. You can see one of the UFO cruisers over on the sea flank is really low. I think that would have been enough, but they've just killed the carrier, which has put UFO up by almost 200 points.
Whoa.
That was a big loss. That turned the closest game I've seen in a while to, oh well, the last 2 minutes of this.
Wish we would have seen how that happened.
Wargaming, if you're watching, spectator mode, when?
So, I thought we were going to get a full week through without I complaining about spectator mode. You saved it for the last minute of the last game. Good job.
I expect on current begging for stuff, we'll get it in 2037.
Well, maybe Wargaming will come out with a new tanks game before something critical like this for us people, comp people. Yeah, it's down to the last minute.
Oh, Rowan spotted. But he does have backup with the other DD. What was the other DD? Is it black, is it? If I remember right. It might be a trade. It's not a trade. Might be a trade still.
Wow, back and forth. 20 seconds, can we find another kill for JN to make it a last push?
It would have to be something big, and I just don't think it's there. Even if they kill the black, it's not going to be enough.
All right, good game. Well done, guys.
And that, unfortunately, is the end of Joe Canode in the Winter Cup. But they've made it to the semi-finals, so that is definitely not something that anyone should feel sorry about leaving with. But like, well done to like both the teams. That last match was nuts.
It was down to the last 2 minutes, literally.
Yeah, it was like the last 2 minutes, and like that carrier going down. Like, I don't know how that happened. That seems. I don't think I've ever seen a carrier die that hasn't been the last ship left alive.
We'll have to ask in the post-game interview. Am I allowed to be part of the post-game interview?
Of course you can. Let me.
Who are you anticipating coming in?
Daniel's already been like messaging me. He's been bugging me for days, which is great because like we get on really well.
Okay.
So and Rowan, by the looks of it.
All right.
So I think we're going to get Rowan in first, though. I hate I hate all this. When you're trying to stream, you don't want to not talk when you're streaming. But like I'm a man. I cannot multitask at all. So trying to type,
I'm sorry.
trying
I'm
to
being a
even
bad
find the names.
partner here. I
Yeah,
see you carrying the dead air, and I got a message that has nothing to do with ships, just distracting me.
see, terrible
Just some-
co-host.
Hey guys.
And there we go. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Well
Hey,
done.
Ro. Congratulations, man! What a game.
Oh, thanks, and to you guys as well.
Like,
Thank you.
No, those were some of the closest games we've had. You saw my point of view, which, as I'm sure you were saying, not my brightest evening, but we are where we are, so it's not too bad. They put up a really great fight.
the only time I questioned you, really, in all fairness, was why didn't you shoot at that DD that was over on C a bit sooner? I was like, he's got the shots.
Which games? Game two?
The last one. The last one, just now. You did finish him off in the end, but he was just in your range, and I think you were having a look around just to make sure nobody else could get shots on you. But I was like,
A bit of
he's
that,
so
a bit
low.
of just point calculation. It was, is anyone gonna die? We're up 110 points, so if something goes down, there's a question. But it was more of a, do you want to shoot something or do you want to just be sure? And it's always nicer to be sure. So yeah, I get radared. I have to do something, and it was nice the way it worked, and we got the trade at the end. But if you don't need to shoot, then shoot.
So, Roland, I'm going to take my friendship hat off and be the hard-hitting investigating reporter that I am. I noticed you had some nice dodges from carrier drops. Walk me through what your thought process on that is and how you were able to split those torps and whatnot.
Ooh, so I really hate playing carriers. I'm glad Winter Cup is almost over, no matter what happens, and I'm glad they don't have carriers in all the cups. But no, really, it's the way I like to think of it is you're gonna have stuff coming at you from very acute angles, and so if you're lining straight up, what I think you've seen a couple times this weekend is, especially in a destroyer, if someone gets a drop onto you close and you're pointed already at the torpedo and you're on the same path of where it's going to go, you're kind of screwed. You have to go and turn out and then turn back in and hope it doesn't hit you in the hull, because if it hits you in the middle, then you don't get all the glorious damage saturation crap, which kind of saves your life half the time. So if you know something's coming, you always have to open up at least a slight angle so you can just turn and drift. Once you're at that stage, it's just kind of going, okay, am I comfortable in the ship that I'm in? And I know Split is a terrible engine, so it's just stop, drift, and normally people can't compensate for that very well. So it helps a bit more than not.
And do you guys, or you personally, do you practice that like in training room, or is it just more from standard play and picking it up there? How do you handle that personally?
It's more from only playing one ship over and over again, being a bit boring, and deciding, okay, I like this. Someone says this is what you're going to be playing, and that's what you do. I think if you looked at my stats, you go, oh, there's 3 ships this guy plays, which isn't the most fun thing in the world, but it gets you there. And once you're kind of comfortable in that, it makes everything else a little more easy.
Yeah, I want to say, like, I'm always trying to be helpful in this. I'm hoping newer players or newer commanders are listening in and picking up little bits and pieces here. And I just want to say, like, this is like one of the things that we look for is people that specialize in a class. Better yet, if you specialize in a ship, that's the player you're looking for. Because like what Rowan's saying here is that he knows the ship, like Scotty says, like the back of his hand. Terrible accent, I know, but it's critical. Like, you know, the capacity of the ships, you know, especially like a ship like the Split. It does not stop. It does not turn very well. It's like, it's a great ship, you know, and it's pretty much been meta throughout this tournament. But am I wrong about that as far as its acceleration and rudder and whatnot?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely terrible. If you look at something like a Loyang, I think it's a destroyer captain's wet dream in comparison. And so it's really just trying to find something where you can kind of get your groove on. Every team is going to have at least two, usually three, as we've seen this weekend, destroyer players per comp game, and each one of them, they're not going to be changing shifts with each other. It'll be, okay, 1 week you're split, the next week you're split, the week after that you're split, or for us it was split and black, and so it'll be, okay, if something changes, it's likely because a map has changed and something's not viable on it anymore. So you don't really have to worry about the other stuff too much. I think the last couple of weeks I started game 1 in the low yang and then moved over to split. It doesn't feel as nice because you're changing around all of the metrics, and with those two ships especially, it's quite a bit different going from one to the other. But yeah, if you have the chance to play a few games beforehand and the ship you're going to be in, just get a bit of a feel for it and try not to be cold and try not to make dumb decisions like I did a fair few times, then it gives you a real advantage on the day.
That's good advice. What about one thing we couldn't see in that third game was that third game was like so close. It was down to like, I don't know, like at the 5-minute mark, only 3 ships were dead. The caps had gone back and forth the whole game.
There was like 20 points in it.
Very, very, yeah, it was very, very close. And then out of nowhere, the CV died, and we didn't see it from our perspective. Do you know what happened there? The JN CV?
Frankly, no. That was kind of a, guys, the CV is almost dead sort of a moment, and we look up and there you go. So we were fortunate for that. But yeah, look, we scrimmed Joker Nord before Winter Cup started. They're an absolutely great bunch of players, even better bunch of guys, and it's nice to have that kind of close competition between fleets. I can't speak exactly what happened there, but it was fortunate for us and not for them.
Was it a situation where the carrier just kind of creeped up a little too close?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure at all.
Okay. All right, so this is going to be my last question, and I'll throw it back to Hive. The theme of the day has been kind of the leadership. What is the leadership mindset when you lose momentum and you're facing elimination? That happened several times throughout today. Maybe that was an elimination situation, but it was you're going to lose the set situation. That happened in our game with, it happened. Well, I don't know how WOWSL did, but the 2 other games today, it went down to a third game. And in your game, you won the first game. JN came back that second game. So what is it like in the UFO locker room there going out to the third game, which, by the way, you guys set a world record on starting like that third game. It was like second game over, both teams ready up instantly and went right into a third game. So I'm curious about that whole transition and what that was like.
It's very straightforward. In terms of going through the games quickly, we all had a bit of a chuckle about that, but I'm sure everybody appreciates it. There's no need for, oh, we're going to leave, we're going to come back in different ships, but you're actually in the same ship. It's a bit of what I said earlier, where if you can stay in the same thing, stay in the same thing. With the kind of leadership mindset, the normal way it works, if people aren't familiar, is if you have 9 players here, you're going to be doing kind of very short call-outs where you want to say someone's on a damage control, someone's on a fire or a flood or something like that. We're being pushed from this direction, we're pushing in that direction, someone's in a cap, yada yada. If you have anything that's extra to that, it's not usually helpful or conducive to the team mindset and knowing what's going on. There's no point saying I got 3 hits on a battleship, it's whatever. But with that, the kind of challenge with Winter Cup is a lot of people don't like carriers, and a lot of people will let you know they don't like carriers as the carrier comes in. So it'll be just, hey, be quiet, we can talk about it after the game. Let's just keep our heads on our shoulders and do what we know and believe we can, which is hunker down, play our game, play slow to play fast, and just continue going forward. So there's never really a moment where it's doom and dire. I'm sure there's teams where people get a little too emotional about it, and that's a bit of an issue, and it doesn't lead to a nice locker room, so to speak. So it's very nice to be able to have a group of guys that are happy where they are and kind of understanding that, hey, just because we miss a step here doesn't mean we'll miss the next one. Um, the main thing is don't put blame on people. Don't put blame on yourself. Don't.
Perspective, because for game one you were pretty dominant. It was, but game two at that, everything fell really quickly. I felt from watching it, and it was losing
Yeah,
the
a lot of
two
that's on me.
DDs early, and so what happened? Like, what was it? Just that really good trap set up by Jokenord? Was it a bad call? Sorry, it's a horrible question. Like, you just tell him, don't blame yourself. So was it your fault?
Oh
But
no, some of it definitely was my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't like how I played that game at all. The main thing there was they had a excellent little situation over at C where, as we all know, they did an amazing job with the Ochakov, smoking that up with the Loyang, and then kind of pushing around the outside. It was our game plan to kind of go around the outside as well and see what we could do there. And then I made the executive decision to instead of go to the outside, I wanted to come back to the middle. That didn't work out. I got told, hey, that's not where you're supposed to go. And then I'd turn north to go to the outside, get hydroed, and immediately get killed by the Ochakov, to put it in nicer words. So that was completely just a misplay by me and something I shouldn't have done. If I turn left there, go south, go around, I stay alive longer. If I just go to where I was supposed to be at the beginning, I know he's hydroing, I stay alive longer. The rest of it was on A, their carrier did an amazing job picking people off, and they had a double DD set up over on A. That was just hard to do, hard to go against. The spawns weren't really the way we wanted them. We didn't have a DD on A, which is the first time we'd ever spawned like that. So it was a bit hard to get things done there. We sent the B DD over once it was possible, but at that point you're kind of stretched thin. They've got two DDs, a cruiser, a battleship, a carrier, and it's against a battleship, a cruiser that's has to be far away to stay alive, and a destroyer that's not really able to get there. So it was a great game plan by Joker Nord, and they really capitalized on our, especially my missteps. So that was just them doing a great job, really.
yeah, because one thing I noticed about your guys' play style is, whereas everyone else typically takes the three DDs, they sort of play a bit of a slower game. You guys seem to be sort of a lot more aggressive and a lot more like heavily focused with the cruiser damage that you guys put out. And so, what is it? So is there a reason basically in the background why you've decided to sort of not really go with like the meta that everyone else is? Is it tactically you think it's better, or is it just you want to do something different?
I don't think it's ever a good idea to do something different just for the sake of it. It's a few things. So we have some great cruiser players, we have some great battleship players, and we do have some great destroyer players. But one thing that we can kind of do is we can look at a situation and go, is it more beneficial to have a third DD and try and have DD on DD engagements, or is it more beneficial to try and win the health game and DPM game with an extra cruiser? So what we tried before was, look, we can do 3 destroyers, mix it up with 2 cruisers, and kind of do a more generic game plan. And it can work, but it just wasn't the most beneficial thing for our team composition, I think. So the way we kind of just moved it is, look, if we have 2 DDs, we can spot. We use a split and a black in this instance. They can both normally hold their own. It kind of allows us to do a couple extra things. It also means that we'll have a cruiser and a battleship in every cap. And so even when something like the second map gives you these really weird spawns, it means that we can have something for everything the vast majority of the time. The last thing you want is a ship where you're going, oh, I really want a D7 over here, and then it spawns on the opposite side, and you don't have the ability to do much with it, that's just a wasted pick. Or if you're going to have a DD that's spotting and not shooting, that's DPM that you're missing out on. So it's really, what do you want to look for in a team composition, and what are you kind of good at as a team? So we have great players. Let them kind of decide what they like, what they want to play, what they're comfortable in, instead of going overly forceful on we think this would be the most meta thing, and if you can generate that comfort, then that'll bring you a long way.
That was like the perfect answer, and that's kind of what I was looking to get from you, was like your team's so different, but you've literally gone, this is where our players are strongest, this is where they're the most comfortable, and you've turned it into a really effective tactic. You know, you guys are doing, you guys obviously, you just beat Joke and Nord. You beat us last week, which I'm a bit salty about.
I also like, if I can interrupt, I also like the thought process of bringing a bigger hit pool.
Yeah.
So next time we play, Salty 2 plays, we're going to bring all battleships. That's how we're going to decide who's
Petropavlovsk.
We're just going to look at the household. That does seem like a pretty, that's kind of a no-brainer. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to do here is just rally TFN to make it so we can have 9v9 battleships, and then everyone can do that.
The whole thing all the way.
Oh, exactly. 9 Kerfers, all the damage in the world, everyone's farming, everyone gets a wither, it'll be great fun.
Yeah. So I got, if I still have any more questions, I don't know if Hive wants to cut me off or not, but I got one more. You had mentioned the comms, and keeping the comms short, which is super important. And if you're a new player to comp, and you're coming from standard, you might just want to kind of keep quiet and do a lot of observing first, because that's definitely critical of adding, rhetoric that makes no sense to game strategy. But what I'm kind of curious about the UFO culture, in that do you have an IGL that kind of leads? I know with, and then also you have carrier, so this tournament might have some different dynamics, but how is the main, call outs and conversation going on behind the UFO scenes? Is it one guy that's kind of directing, or is it the CV player? In this case, Monfy, is he directing, or is it kind of it is a little more in standard where everybody's doing their thing?
So it really depends on who's playing that day. We have a couple people that have a lot of experience calling, and so traditionally it's always, there's one person who kind of has the role in the middle of the game to go, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. They have final say over what's going on, but at some point you have to just believe in your players, and so it'll be, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to achieve it, but you're the guys playing the ships, you understand what's going on better than I, being the person that's calling, would, and so we want you to do what you think is best. There's no point telling someone to do something if you don't have all the information and you don't know what's going to happen with that. That'll lead to a bad thing 9 times out of 10. When it comes to how calling works and all those sort of things, it's more of how many people that have experience calling do we have playing, and how many people, where do they spawn, and what's our general strategy. So if we want to do a coordinated push on a map, and we have a couple people that are calling, or that have experience doing that, if they're both in battleships, for example, they're going to spawn on opposite sides of the map. That sort of a thing allows a caller to understand what's going on around them a little better and say, this is what this side needs to do, and the 3 of them, or normally 3 of them if it's 9v9, can have a kind of cohesive game plan together on the fly. If it's just one person, which is more common, then it'll be everyone kind of knows what to do and do what you see when opportunities arise. So it's kind of a bit of a different thing. It'll be input from everyone, because you don't want to not have the information on hand, and the only way you get that is by hearing what's going on. So I would say if anyone's wanting to get into comp, the easiest way to do that is to start playing Fleet Cup in a group of 5, or even just ranked with a bunch of like-minded friends. If you can go into a map, you say this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna do it, and then you know every step of the way why you're doing something, you are doing much better than basically every other person you'll come up against. And once you start doing that, it'll get you a lot further. So that's the kind of mindset that we would want and that we would look for, besides your general sort of good-tempered people that aren't going to throw a fight in the middle of a game, because that's not helpful to anybody really. So it's more just a culture of understanding more than anything special.
It's interesting. It sounds like you guys kind of like float back and forth, like kind of haven't found like the sweet spot for your team. I mean, I'm not saying there is not, maybe there isn't one. I mean, and all teams are different. That's why I was curious.
Oh yeah, well look, at the same time, as I know you're aware, we've had a lot of roster change over the last year and a half, so it would be disingenuous to say, oh, we have this one way of doing something, we have one person that calls, because we don't have the same people that were in the last tournament, we don't have the same people that were in the tournament before that, and it's something a lot of teams face, where it's, you do have this turnover, you do have people deciding, I'd like to go play with these other friends, and I want to get more playtime over here, which is their right and what everyone should do. But it just means that you need to kind of update this dynamic, so I have one set of things. If it's going to be, like, if we get a new player tomorrow who's better and just sees things faster than the people that currently do the calling, then, and they want to, they'll do the calling. It's not very helpful to have locked-in positions or plays or players. It's much more of a fluid thing. So to go, UFO doesn't have a dedicated style, why would we want that? It would be one argument. Another argument is, look, there are some amazing teams with amazing styles. Like, I think the most obvious ones is you look at CRD, who are absolutely amazing with their smoke screens and do a lot with that. That is a really good way to play. You look at WOWSL, who are a little more kind of just, we know where we want to be, we're going to just be better than you, I guess would be the best way of describing how they play. That works very well. Same with Salty and all those sort of teams. And
well, I do know something about WASA I can speak to about this, and hopefully they don't feel like I'm letting out any cats out of the bag. They do, so regarding this particular topic, they have three IGLs, at least this is what I've been told. That they have basically three IGLs, and that way it guarantees that they have one IGL on one of the flanks. So, you know, maybe sometimes you might have two IGLs on line up on two flanks. If you just had two, that's why they have three. So that at least they have a caller on either side, which I think is very smart. And I know, like, a lot of players, it doesn't even matter your level of ability. Even as a high level player, sometimes it's reassuring when you're thinking, should I push? Should I not push? And then you hear the voice that, you know, the IGL say, okay, I want the right flank to push all three of you guys, or I want you to do this, go out to the flank. I want you as a DD player, move from the cap and go spot. We don't need that cap. We got the other cap. And it frees up your mind, even as an advanced player, frees your mind up to kind of get out of, should I do this? Should I do that? Oh, okay, I've just been told what to do. Now if I go out to the flank and I get nuked, it's not my fault. It's not on me, you know.
I don't think anyone wants to get blamed when they get dev struck because they've done a silly move. And there's a lot of individual pressure on, like, all of the players, but, like, I 100% get it. I mean, you have that one person, and it really helps if it's someone you've got, like, a lot of faith in. And if you've got that one person you've got faith in, it just makes it, from, like, a player's perspective, like, I don't know if Rowan's calling shots or anything, which is why I decided to butt in with my 2 cents, because it is my stream and I like to talk. But
oh, so do I, as I'm sure you're now aware. But
it's so much more reassuring from a player's perspective when on a team, when you've got someone you've got confidence in, and they've got confidence with how they say it as well. So it's like if you've got someone that goes, oh, okay, you might want to push on C, or be careful because there's a ship there. Like that just makes you more nervous. It's horrendous. But when you've got someone who's like super confident, right, we're gonna push C. You go wide. You go mid. You get behind that island, and it just gives you that confidence that you're doing what's right for the team, and I feel that makes such a huge difference.
Oh, it really does, and it's also knowing your team and who's on your team. Different people play differently, and so like if you look at the kind of archetypes of players, it would be bad to push someone into something that they're not comfortable with. So even if you have the best idea in the world, you still have to know who's with you, who's around you, and what are they good at, what are they comfortable in. Once you're at that stage, then it's really nice to have someone in that sort of position.
Yeah, don't go putting me in a destroyer, for example.
And at the same time, like I wouldn't feel very comfortable as a destroyer having to do a call on another side of the map. Like I'm not understanding what's going on over there. But like if it's game 2 and I die the first thing, then yeah, I can turn around and look at where people are and say, what about this? What about that? Have a look out for this or that. So it's just everyone that has something to input should input it. It shouldn't be completely locked off. But having people that are the necessary fallbacks is always a good thing.
Man, that was like I moved into some IGL. I've done some, and I can do some in the future. But I started out as a DD main, and I've only been playing BB main for like maybe almost 18 months now. But because of that, my vision is so limited to the cap that I'm under. When I started doing IGL, I really had to focus on the mini map and overall strategy. It took me a minute, even though I was like, I don't know, like at that point I was like 17,000 games in.
Yeah.
It still was difficult for me to see what's going. Even when I wasn't playing, I'm just watching the mini map. I'm still like watching the bigger screen because I'm just so used to. Okay, where's the DD? Where's the cruiser? Okay, the battleship's rolling in. Where does he have air support? Am I going to get airdropped? Do I need the cap? Do I need the spot? Are there torps? There's some as a DD being the point of your cap. Man, there's so much to look out for. So then to ask a DD player to be like, okay, I want you to IGL. I'm like, all right, great, I can do my cap, but forget everything else. That was so hard for me to be able to look at the mini map and learn that even 4 years into the game. It was a stretch.
Mute myself. It takes a special kind of computer-brained person to IGL. I think IGL is probably it's definitely the hardest role to do in a team.
It's a lot of pressure as well. You don't let your guys down. And look, when we break stuff down after games, there's a lot of it where it's, did a player play bad, or was it called bad, or what happened there? And it's putting a lot of pressure on someone. And when you want to break something down in a constructive manner and go, frankly, you didn't do a right call here, you have to have the type of person who is okay with hearing that and going, okay, I'm going to use this to get better, instead of, I feel offended, or doubling down.
I'm offended that you would say it was my fault.
Exactly. But like that's why, like personally, I don't know many destroyer players that I would want to be calling a full game. Like if you're at your cap, that's perfect. But once it kind of goes out of that, like if you listen to me, I'll be talking to my cap and to the other destroyer players so we can coordinate where do we want to be, how do we want to get eyes on things. But if it's going to, hey, what's the battleship doing on the other side of the map? Don't ask me. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be listening to what I have to say about that. My head's in the clouds in comparison. So it's kind of just understanding roles and understanding your limitations would be the most important thing there.
I would also add that as a commander, if you're looking within your team of who to be the IGL, you want to keep a close air in your standard play when you're in division with your teammates and your div mates. Keep a close air of who can see the whole map, because there's a difference between knowing a knowledge of the game and being able to do real-time strategy. You know, if I asked you right now, what's the armor on the AL Choppy, you might be able to tell me, well, it's 22 millimeter on the side and 15 at, you know, the superstructure or whatever. All the, yeah, like I don't even know what it is, to be honest. But you know, there's people that can tell you every little thing. You know, the guns, the caliber, the plating, where it's weak. Okay, that doesn't help. That doesn't help you when you're in battle, and you need to know where that. If you're a cruiser in the B, A, or B cap, and you need to know where that battleship is in the C cap, and the IGL is not calling that out, and you have no idea, you're having problems getting spots. He's got crossfires on you. You're dead. So you need somebody that has real time strategy ability. That's just, you know, on a little side note, because that's very challenging. Even the best of our players, there's only a few guys, even within Salty, that have that real time big picture strategy.
It's not common and it's not trained. So a lot of the people that would have it, you're not going to refresh that every tournament or two. It's something that you have to put a lot of time and effort into, and it really is a certain type of personality that's happy to do those things. So it's really kind of, if you find those players, make them happy, because those are the kind of guys you want on your team, and you can kind of get around all of the play stuff a lot easier than you can get around the calling stuff. The real thing that'll make or break a team is, do you have those guys? You're not going to do anything even with the best players in the world if they're running around like chickens with their head cut off. And that is a real stat in itself, where you can have a guy who's 10% worse than the other player on your team, but if he can see these things, then he is much more valuable. And
100%.
that is something where it's kind of hard to determine when you're a fleet trying to recruit people and have people come play with you. A lot of it is, you would see top end fleets going, you need this amount of games, you need this win rate, you need this average XP. At the end of the day, a lot of them, give them a message, say, I want to get better and I have this sort of mindset, and if they play with you, here they have that mindset and can realize that a lot of the stuff is just formalities. Those sort of people really are the gems in the rough, and that is who everybody's looking for.
Yep, definitely.
Hello guys, sorry.
Boss man's here.
Serenaros here. Thank you for the casting hype for the marathon. It was awesome. Have for casting.
Oh, I'm in the doghouse tomorrow. I've got to do the dishes, the washing, mop the floor, fuss the wife's feet. You know. I hope you guys appreciated it.
GG's Rowan. This game.
Thanks, man. No, it was great. Joker Nord put up a hell of a fight, and it's all the respect in the world goes to them. They did an amazing job, and it was really close there.
It was for real. Marathon 7 game in a row to streaming live with casting team in a single day is the busiest.
Yeah, you guys need to get yourself some tea or something like that to
we are
down
pretty much buzzing. But grateful, we are grateful also.
Wonderful.
So thank you for the game, thank you for the casting hype.
Thank
Mr.
you for
Hype.
running it all. I know you don't do it on your own, so it's to the whole TFN team, but like without the effort you guys put in, we'd all be calling each other losers on Facebook, wouldn't we?
It's exactly for a moment like this, so to handle the game, so beautiful game is happening. We have some pleasure to see every game. So
Okay, I'm
that's
sorry to
the
interrupt,
spirit.
but I'm getting a phone call, so I will have to dip here. But thanks, guys, and have a lovely evening, and thanks for covering our game.
Yeah,
And
cheers.
thanks for
Thank you
sending
very
everybody
much.
To join us.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
See you guys.
I live also, so take care, guys. see you next week.
Isn't there a break next week? I thought there was a break.
The upper bracket has a break, but lower bracket keep to play next week, and it will be the last week of best of 3. So in 2 weeks we're gonna switch in best of 5. Okay.
So, Neris, before you jump out, do you know what the schedule looks like? Like who's facing off next weekend?
I'm not sure. Just let me check because, as I told you, I'm very, very, very tired about today. So
Well, it'll be lower bracket, won't we? So we will have UFO will be
check.
playing Hulk.
No.
UFO versus Hulk.
No, man. Let me check just a moment.
I'm sure it's Hulk.
Okay, week 6, we have 4 matches respectively. Okay.
Be JDM. Wouldn't it be JDM CRD?
Yeah.
UFO
no,
and Hulk.
We have GDM versus UFO.
Oh, GDM versus UFO.
Yeah. And WOWSL 2 versus Coal, the French fleet. Lower bracket B.
Oh,
Round.
yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one. I was looking at the 2 lower bracket A ones.
I figure it out.
Because it's also been a long day.
Yeah, for real. 4 match next week, yeah.
So that should be interesting, and it's all on the line next weekend. So all 4 of those games, it will be, if you're out, you're out. So
yeah. There is no second chance in lower bracket.
it's a lot of pressure on everyone next week. Right, well, after time is 5, 6, 7. After 5 hours of streaming,
Yeah.
I am going to bugger off to bed.
Yeah, we need a break. So, thank you for the effort, Mr. Hive. Thank you, Jedi.
Okay, guys.
Take care.
Good job, Hive. Of course, Neris.
See you
Good
next
job.
week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right. So yeah, thank you everyone who stopped by and watched, although I'm assuming most of you have fallen asleep by now. We will be back next week for more Fleet Network battles. Hopefully I'll get some time to maybe do some streaming of myself, maybe even do a video or 2, we will see. But until next time.